Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. So, we are reading from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 19, Devotion, Service and Pure Love of God. This is the last chapter in this particular section, section 1, part 1, you can call, where Srila Rupa Goswami, by the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is describing the various stages. We have seen that devotion service is described in three. Devotion service is divided into three stages, at least in this first section, part 1. Devotion service in practice, devotion service in ecstasy, devotion service in pure love of Godhead. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Many other acharyas gives different terminologies, but this is the standard and simple. So Prabhupada translated it as. So this is the last stage, devotion service and pure love of God. And before that, in chapter 6, which is very important, first chapter is giving the characteristics of pure devotion service. And then it is a further detailing out of those 6 characteristics. And then the 6th chapter is very important, devotion service, how to execute devotion service, where 64 items, limbs are there. And then we discussed that there are, out of 64, there are categories 20 and then 44. Out of those 20 also, there are 10, first 10 of them are doors for liberation, doors for pure love of God. Out of those 10 also, the first 3 are the main entrance in order to enter into the pure love of God, which is Adav Guru Ashrayam, Vishramba Sevanam, Sadharma Prucha, Sadhu Marganagam. So, also, taking shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord, spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, and then serving him. Same thing we see in 4th chapter, 34th verse. Pranipad, Sevaya, then Pariprasna. First Pranipad, surrendering with the spiritual master, and then Sevaya, second. Then you ask question confidentially. Pariprasna. Same thing, these 3 doors, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is commenting on this. So, in that way, the 64 items. The 64 items are elaborated from all the way from that 6th chapter down all the way till almost, I think, 14, 15, 16 devotions. Then devotion service in ecstasy has been described last few chapters. And then now the 19th chapter has been pure love of God. So systematically, very systematically, Rupa Goswami, just like Lord Krishna, is systematically delineating in Bhagavad Gita also, gradually giving the pure devotion service. Even though it is mentioning in 2nd chapter also at the end, science self-realized soul, or who is a pure devotee. And that's why here also, first Krishna in this chapter also very systematically, Sri Rupa Goswami is describing. First is defining what is pure love of God means, and is defining, and then that definition, how to attain it, the process briefly, and then on the basis of authority, Narada Muni, Bhishma Pita, great Mahajanas, what did they said? That is describing first. And then it is describing the 2 categories of how to attain pure love of God. One is through ecstasy, and another one is through extraordinary mercy of the Supreme Lord, which is very difficult to get. Directly getting Krishna's mercy is very difficult. But the first one is much more easier. So that is through the capacity. So to the mercy, through the ecstatic stage from sadhana bhakti to devotion service and practice, gradually come to the ecstatic stage and also prema stage. We'll look at the song by Narottam Das Thakur first, because there Narottam Das Thakur is clearly describing how to attain this pure love of God. First, we have to take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pure devotee. And we'll also look at the verses where directly, so Mayadevi herself is quoting, even though she received initiation from Lord Shiva, she was been given the mantra also, but then she herself clearly taking initiation from a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate. She herself is telling how one can come to the inundation of love of Godhead through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll look at a verse where Prabhupada is quoting 11 to 40, very famous chapter, King Nemis, being described by, instructed by Nava Yogendras. And then also very famous verse, again another famous verse, because the second category, how to attain pure love of God, is described as the association of devotees. The second, there are two sections Prabhupada is delineating in this chapter. One is the ecstasy, the other one is the mercy of the Lord. But then the third section, Prabhupada is writing pure devotee, association of pure devotee, spiritual master. In that particular section, that particular paragraph is very important. That is connected to this verse. 7th canto, 7th chapter, verse number, I think 29 to 30. A very important point. A few other places you will see that it is not just bhakta, it is not just a devotee. Sat bhakta, sadhu bhaktanam. So different places it is used. Or snigdha bhakta, advanced devotee, whom we should associate, whom we should give respect and serve, but whom we should hear and follow. That is differently been mentioned in the purport for this verse clearly, 7:29 to 30 by Prahlad Maharaj's prayers in that particular verse. Even this verse 11 to 40 Prabhupada is quoting. There also King Nemi has been instructed. He himself is quoting the association of advanced devotee, pure devotee, how important it is. So now let's begin to understand this. So this particular point by Narottam Das Thakur is giving the beautiful song how one can attain Krishna Prema. You can see the last line. What do we go? Are bhai baja mora gauranga charana na bajiya moino dukhe dubi graha vishakupe dagda koilo yei pancha pran. Is instructing, is suggesting, Are bhai, all brothers, let us worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Baja mora. Mora means even, worship with very great confidence, great faith. That also we'll have to look at Adi Leela. One must, how one can actually develop pure love of God. So famous verse Prabhupada quotes for this, how it's a step-by-step process. It's a gradual process. Sadhakanam ayam premno pradurbhavet kramat adau saddha साधु संगो भजन क्रिया अनर्थ निवृत्ति अततो निष्ठा तथा रुचि तथा आसक्ति तथा भाव Krishna prema abhyudanchati. And this is a gradual process from Adho Shraddha, starting with faith. That faith gets strengthened all the way from association of devotees, bhajana kriya, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava. All through the faith is there, increasing. It becomes more and more. Laukika Shraddha will go away. Transcendental faith will keep on increasing as we are taking more and more shelter. Generally, the love of God doesn't depend on the knowledge. But we are not spontaneous devotees. We are not, because love doesn't depend on what you expect or what you give. So, what you need to know. No, love actually doesn't depend on any of that. You directly love the person spontaneously. So that, but we are not at the spontaneous devotion. So that's why we have to hear and chant and serve association. That is a protection of Shakti. So in this verse, that's what Narottam Das Thakur is. Shakti means, as I explained, that first one is the service, second one is the hearing, then the next is association, SHACTI. Instead of K, it is C. Service, hearing, chanting, association. T is trained by a pure devotee of the Lord, an advanced devotee of the Lord. I is intensely desiring. Here, Prabhupada is first line, Prabhupada is writing in this particular chapter. The love of pure love of Godhead is, it is intensely desiring to love Krishna, attain love for Krishna. That is what devotion, service, and pure love, intensely desiring. If the desire is not there, you can't chant properly. If your desire is not there, intense desire is not there, you can't hear attentively and every day, consistently, constantly, you can do. If you don't have intense desire, you can do service either consistently, constantly. We have no intense desire, we can't be trained by pure devotee, because to find a pure devotee itself is difficult, sadhu, difficult. And then on top of it, to be trained also, you have to have intense desire to serve, intense desire to approach him, confident, discuss with him, serve him, and hear from him, ask questions. This won't happen. So that is for all these things, for Shakti, intense desire is the first place. First, one must have intense desire. I want Krishna Prem. I want Krishna. I want his representatives. I want to serve him. I want to understand him. What he likes, what is this relationship, what is his bhakti all about. All these things, one must have the real intense desire. That is the first place. And that's why here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Are bhai, Bhaja Mora, Gaurang Charan. Let us take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then actually we can come to the Prema Bhakti. Na Bhajiya Moino Duke, Dubi Gruha Krisha Kupe. This is our status as well. We have plunged into this poisonous life of materialistic life. Dugdha Koilo Yei Pancha Pran. All my five main indriyas and five life air is been engrossed in this materialistic life. It is burning. Dugdha Koilo. Tapatraya Vishanale Aharnishi Yaj Jale. It's day in, day out. These threefold miseries are going on. It's like Vishanale, wildfire. Deho Sada Hoi Achetana. I became unconscious, and my body, my mind, everything became unconscious, Achetana, because of this fire going on. Or Ripu Vasa Indriya Hilo Gora Pada Pasarilo. Same thing. The Indriyas. Vimuka Hila Hino Dhana. I became against forgetting the Lord, real thing. Then further is mentioned, Eno Gora Daya Moy Chari Saba Laja Boy. So, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most merciful. So, is surrendering to now Sri Chaitanya. Kaya More Lohoyere Sarana. Let me take shelter. Because by that only, by him only, by his mercy, causeless mercy, because he is most merciful, he accepts even the sinful, whatever the condition we may have. Pamara Durmati Chilo, Tare Gora Udarilo, Tara Hoila Patita Pavana, Gora Dvija Nataraje, Bandailo Hridaya Maje, let me bind him in my heart, Gora Nataraj. Ki Karobe Samsara Saman, Narottama Dasi Kohe, Gora Sama, Keho Nohi, Na Bajite Deya Premadana. If you don't worship him, then you can get. Oh, brother, please worship the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga. I have not worshipped them. But instead, I have divided into the poisonous well of the material, well of materialistic household life. And as a result of my five life waves are burning with the poison of material life. Day and night, I burn in the poisonous fire of the threefold miseries of material life. And as a result, I faint again and again. My senses are overwhelmed by lust, anger, and numberless other enemies, and I am averse to the greatest treasure, that is the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga. So that's the first, we have to have that intense desire. All the acharyas are showing that. First, we have to have intense desire. Right? We have desire to get a home, desire to get a car, desire to get so many things in this world. But it has to be much more stronger than all of these things to get actually, I really want Krishna. Then only we'll work towards it. If we don't have a strong desire is not there, that's why we can't wake up, we can't chant, we can't do service, we can't do any of that, we can't plan, we can't execute devotion service. So the missing point is the strong desire has to be developed and intensely prayed for as well. Both has to be there. Oh, brother, give up all fear and shyness and take shelter of merciful Lord Gauranga. We have weakness, that's a different story. But first, we have to have intense desire. Lord Gauranga rescues those who are most wicked at heart. So the weakness is not a problem. The problem is our purpose is not strong. Prabhupada said, your purpose is not strong. That's why you are failing. You are being captured by my everyday. Prabhupada says to his disciple. Are most wicked at heart, and therefore he is known as Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen. If you place Lord Gauranga, the Brahmana king of dancers, within your heart, then what will death be able to do to you? So, because he becomes fearless, pure devotee is not afraid of anything, and no one can check. For pure devotee, not Yamaraj can check, no one can check pure devotee. He can leave at his own time. Narottam Das says, there is no one equal to Lord Gauranga. Even if one will not become his devotee, still Lord Gauranga will freely give him treasure of love of Krishna. The example is right there in Jagai and Madai. They are not ready to, they are not requesting, they are not desiring. It is Nityananda Prabhu personally went and delivered them. Haridas Thakur was also surprised and shocked. But as soon as he heard Nityananda Prabhu, yes, if you desire, then they are already. I can tell you that they attained Krishna Prema. They are going to attain. Because if you desire, then there is nothing can stop you. So in this way, we can see clearly Narottam Das Thakur. Again, so many prayers are there. Narottam Das Thakur clearly telling how to attain Krishna Prema. First, intense desire to accept, take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaura Prema Rasarnave Si Taranga Jabe Dube. If you are really intensely desiring Gaura Prema, you want to merge into that. See Taranga Jabe Dube. That means you have to be immersed. Dube means when you are constantly floating in that particular water. So Dube. Then say Radha Madhav Antarangi. You can't attain directly Radha and Krishna. Yes, we generally jump directly Radha and Krishna ready. We don't take shelter of Srila Prabhupada or Gaur Nitai. We directly jump to Radha Krishna generally. General tendency is there. But that is not our process. Here clearly Narottam Das Thakur is giving. Say Radha Madhav Antarangi. Only when you go through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and his representation of Prabhupada, that's why when you enter into the temple, we don't call first Radha Samsundar. We call Jai Sri Prabhupada, Jai Guru. Then because Krishna is looking at who is calling my devotee. That's why we call Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha. So Yashodananda. Because he first likes to be called through his devotee, not directly. So that's why we first take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda. Then we can enter into Sri Radha Madhav Antarangi. Gruheve vaneve tako ye goranga boli dake narottama mage tara sange. So wherever you are, you don't need to follow Varnashram Dharma. If you want to follow, fine. But this is higher than that. Wherever you are, just take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his name. Then you can attain. Doesn't matter what weakness you may have, nothing can stop to attain. Let's now read. Devotional service and pure love of God. When one's desire to love Krishna in one's particular relation becomes intensified, this is known as pure love of Godhead. So that's why the first thing is intense desire is there. Then we can naturally, when it is intensifies, theoretically first we need to have that goal. Just like Prabhupada says in the beginning of introduction of Bhagavad Gita, that one must theoretically accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Same way, so one must at least start making that everyday request. I am intensely desiring, I want intensely desire to attain. Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Sri Prabhupada, Acharya Varga, please give me the strength and intelligence how I can attain it. I want to increase this desire. So please help me. So then they can help. But first we have to cultivate that. In the beginning, a devotee is engaged in regulative principles of devotion service by the order of his spiritual master. When one thereby becomes completely purified of all material contamination, there develops an attachment and taste for devotion service. This taste and attachment, when gradually intensified in the course of time, becomes love. The word love can actually be applied only in relation with personality of Godhead. That also is there, verse by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Atmendriya Triptivancha Taranam Kam and Krishnendriya Triptivancha Taranam Prem. What is Prem? What is love? Means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is defining, mentioning that one must please the senses of Krishna and is Krishna's representative. Then that is what is Prem means. Anything else, we are pleasing our senses, then it is an opposite. Not love, it is lust. In the material world, love is not applicable at all. What goes on the order of under the name of love in the material world is nothing but lust. There is a gulf of difference between the love and lust, like the difference between the gold and iron. In the Artha Pancharatra, it is clearly stated that when the lust is completely transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the concept of kinship is completely reposed in him, such is accepted as pure love of Godhead by the great authority like Bhishma, Prahlada, and Uddhava and Narada. Great authorities like Bhishma have explained that love of Godhead means completely giving up all so-called love for any other person. According to Bhishma, love means reposing one's affection completely upon one person, withdrawing all affinities for any other person. This pure love can be transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions. This is the first point. First is the intense desire must be there. How we will get pure love of Godhead? From faith to Madhava Shraddha to Prema Bhakti is first intense desire. Then it has two conditions. Under two conditions, one is out of ecstasy, And the second one is out of causeless mercy of Supreme Person. The second one is very rare, directly receiving mercy. But the first one is easier. You can come to the ecstasy through the Kripa Siddhi. That's why you'll see the sections. One is ecstasy, one is Lord's extraordinary mercy. But the third, this is it is tied to the first section, the first paragraph, association with pure devotees. By this, we will come to the ecstatic stage. That's why elaborately Prabhupada is explaining. Now, in order to understand this first, to the regulative principles of principles of devotion service, which means Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangho. That means the regulative principles means four regulative principles are there, but also Yama and Nima. So, what to do, what not to do. The next of instruction, Rupa Goswami is explaining that Atyahar Prayasas Prajalpo Nima Jana Sangasya Lolint Sadbir Bhakti Vinasati. That we should not do. And then he's telling the third verse, Utsaha Nishya Dairya Tattva. So how we can have Utsaha, enthusiasm? That means intense desire has to be there. And we have to associate with pure devotees. And we have to have a strong faith and Shraddha to hear and chant. Whom we have to hear? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is explaining 117th verse in chapter 2 in Adilila. So, Siddhanta Boliya Chitte Na Kara Alas. So, Te Lagila Karane Sudruda Manas. How one can have strong faith? So, 2:117. Siddhanta Boliya Chitte Na Kare Alas. Yaha Haite Krishna Lage Sudruda Manas. Prabhupada is giving a very elaborate purport. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial. For such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. Right now, mind is telling anything against Krishna consciousness, devotion service, only mind is telling. When we sit for chanting, when we come to temple, when we are trying to do service, when we try to hear, always mind is telling, hey, you have to finish this work, you have this duty, that duty. Mind is always grabbing on to material things, bhoga pravrutti. So then now how you fix the mind, how you fix your faith, how you strengthen your devotion service. You have to follow this. Essential should not do it. That means Siddhanta. Who is giving Siddhanta? Siddhanta is given with Acharya. Acharya is delineating the actual Siddhanta of the Supreme Lord. This Bhagavad Dharma. What is Siddhanta? What is the conclusions? Conclusion to only be revealed by the pure devotee. That's why Prabhupada is quoting. Prabhupada is not putting his statement. He's quoting Narada Muni, he's quoting Bhishma Pitama, he's quoting great devotees. Because that is the process. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajanasya yena gatasya panta. So that's why Prabhupada is quoting the Mahajanas, especially Narada Muni, Prahlad, and Bhishma Pitama. And here also you will see that Prabhupada is clearly writing in the first, especially the last line. The revealed scripture mentions 9 means of, before that, I think one more line before. Neophytes in devotion service, please pay attention. Neophytes in devotion service must always alert, laser focus. Understand Krishna through the vision of revealed scriptures. First point, revealed scriptures. Second point, bona fide devotees. That is second point. Third, spiritual master. Bona fide devotees is going to elaborate on that. Unless one hears about Sri Krishna from such authorities, it is very clear. Revealed scripture, whom you have to hear from? Bona fide devotees and spiritual master. Both are there. You hear from spiritual master and Sri Prabhupada, but also you have to hear from the bona fide devotee. What that bona fide devotee is, it will be elaborated here, and also look at the Prahlad Maharaj statement in the Prabhupada's elaborate purport. Revealed scriptures mention 9 means of attaining devotion service, of which the first and foremost is hearing from authority. The seed of devotion, see that, seed of devotion. The bhakti creeper cannot be cannot grow. Bhakti cannot be cultivated. It cannot be reformed. So the seed of devotion cannot sprout unless watered by the process of hearing and chanting. One should see how one should submissively receive the transcendental message from whom? Spiritually advanced sources, not by anybody and everybody. You may hear hundreds of classes, but unless they are in this Sad Bhakta, Sadhu Bhakta, completely immersed on Acharya's business only. No other business. Acharya's business only. Everything has to be done for Guru and Krishna only. There is no other There should not be any other deviation there. Then that is what Sadhu Sadbhakta means. So we'll see further elaboration. Advanced version chant the very same messages for one's own benefit as well as benefit of one's own. See that? Chant the very same messages, not just chant the same message, chant the very same message. That means Prabhupada want to make the emphasize exactly same as it is, no deviation. You are sticking to the principles of what Acharya has given. And Prabhupada is very particular about it. Again and again, he chastised his disciples to show, because that is going to change is your disease. Don't change anything. What I am giving, that's what you follow. So, Prabhupada instructed many times like that. And the Prabhupada is now explaining that Brahma himself did that. Brahma himself has done, he has received, he is also telling the pure devotee. When Brahma described the situation of pure devotees free from the culture of empiric philosophy and fruitive action, he recommended the process of hearing from persons who are on the path of devotion, following the footsteps of such liberated souls. That's why the ninth chapter, most confidential knowledge, is the top most important chapter. There, all these details are given. Mahatmanastu Maham Partha. Before that, Mogasa Moga Karmano, Moga Gnana Vichetasa. How will you remove this Mogasa Moga, your ill motivated actions, ill motivated desires, ill motivated thoughts? How will you purify? You have to take shelter. Mahatmanastu Maham Partha. Then you can do Satatam Kirtan Tomam. If you don't take shelter of Mahatma, advanced devotee who is absorbed, who has fire in Krishna consciousness, whose life is only for Guru and Krishna, then how you can do Satanam Kirtan? You can. It is not possible. It has to be drawn by somebody who has it, who is doing it, by associating, by hearing, by following. Then you can also come to that. Otherwise, it's not. We don't have spontaneous. We are not spontaneous devotees to come to that. So that's why we have to follow. The Prabhupada's purport is very clear for this verse, because na kara alas, how you will be very alert, laser focus. Siddhanta bole. Siddhanta means you are alert to hear from Sri Prabhupada and Guru, and also those who are strictly following them. Then your mind will be focused, laser focused. So that's why Prabhupada is writing this commentary very clearly, very alert. So, and he is quoting Brahma also. Can lead one to the highest stage who are able to vibrate real transcendental sound. This also is meant as a state. Shastra statements are very. Shabda Brahma can be only be come from the mouth. Shabda Brahma can only come from the mouth, from the lotus lips of a pure devotee, as well as Prabhupada and Guru. So that we cannot avoid hearing. You have to make a time, at least 10 minutes a day, whatever time, or once a week, whatever is possible. Start somewhere and then gradually increase and increase. Then only, because pure devotee we have to, because through him only we can attain. We can attain Krishna's mercy. As we can see that Mayadana case, Mayadana tried to, Krishna is ready to, ready to release Sudarshan and kill him. When he took shelter of Arjuna, then he has no choice. Then Krishna has, okay, all right, now you give something. They need some hall. You build the hall. And in that way, so once one person takes shelter of this devotee, then Lord immediately accepts. The same thing with the Kulinagram devotees who has been given service to bring silk robes. What was the reason? One is Haridas Thakur was in their village before, but before that, even Gunaraj Khan was a great devotee, was ecstatic bhakta, intense devotee of the Lord Krishna. That's why he has written Pandu Vijay, the glories of Lord Krishna. Elaborate, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified him, Gunaraj Khan, like anything. Because you are all coming from Gunaraj Khan family, descendants in that gram, I will deliver even the pig, the donkey, any living entity from that village. I will give Krishna Prema to all of them because of Gunaraj Khan. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Gaur Leela also. We see so many examples. One must surrender to that devotee who has love for Krishna. Then through that we will attain the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. Then we will attain the mercy of Krishna. Here also same thing is been given clearly. Siddhanta. Nakrai alas. Sudruda manas. Then we will attain. Fixer of faith will come like this only. Can lead one to the highest stage of devotion. Thus one become a Mahabhaga. Everyone can become, but provided we follow another Mahabhaga. Bhakta Bhagavat. Bhagavat Giya Bhagavat Sthani. You can understand only Srimad Bhagavatam through another person Bhagavat, who has actually directly in touch with Krishna, has been revealed by Krishna. So then By hearing, by following him, then we can actually come to Bhagavad, Mahabhagavad stage and pure love of God. From the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami is also mentioning the same thing. A person who is expert in understanding the conclusion of revealed scripture, who fully surrenders to the cause of the Lord, is actually able to deliver others. Otherwise, that's why we take shelter. So this Rupa Goswami in the Upadesa Amrita, this is the same thing. Utsaha Nishya Dhairya. How will you come? Utsaha Nishya Dhairya. Second line, the further lines are important. We only quote first line. But actually the next lines are very important. Utsaha Nishya Dhairya. When you will come to these three things, enthusiasm, patience, return. Utsaha Nishya Dhairya tat karma pravartana. Tat karma, that means the karma, the activity, what we do. It dictates whether you have enthusiasm, whether you have patience, whether you have determination. What the tatat karma pravartana sangatyago. Give up the intimate association with anybody who is not absorbed in Krishna. Anybody who is not absorbed in Guru and Prabhupada, Acharya's business. Sangatyago sato vrutte. The vrutti, the activities must be sato. Means it must be aligned with Shastra, Sadhu, and Guru, as Prabhupada mentioned above. Revealed scripture, Sadhu, bona fide devotees, and Guru. So same thing here also. Tat karma pravartana sangatyago sato vrutte. Sato sadbir bhaktir prasiddhyati. If you follow the sato vrutte, the devotees, the bona fide devotees, acharyas, then you can actually come to enthusiasm. Then you will come to determination. Then patience. Otherwise, you can't have. We can't develop these three things. It doesn't come by our own endeavors and by our own, it doesn't come like that. So this is the further. You can read this is the second chapter, Adilila, Chaitanya Charitam, Vedabase.io, 117. You can read again. We should read again. That's the process. You hear the class, again go to the verse and read and try to meditate on the verse. Meditate and reflect, because if you reflect, if you contemplate, then you can work on it and you can try to put that in practice. If there is no meditation on the verse, no reflection, then you can't put in the practice. That's where generally the lacking is. We are not laser focused because after hearing, it goes away. There is no meditation. What has been said and what I'm supposed to change in my lifestyle, in my activities, in my thought process, in my desires. There is nothing. So when the meditation doesn't happen, then you can't. So we look at the Prahlad Maharaj statement also, because it is significant. Guru Susrushaya Bhaktiya Sarva Labda Arpanena Cha Sangeshu Sadhu Bhaktam. You see that? Whom you have to associate? Sadhu Bhakta, not any Bhakta. Yes, you associate with everybody, any devotee. You serve them, you respect them. That is not the issue at all. That Shastra is clearly defined. But whom actually you intimately associate, whom you follow, you take instruction from, you ask questions from who? Clearly. Sangena Sadhu Bhakta. Sangena Sadhu. This is the very key. Ishvara Aradhanena cha. So, Shraddhaya Tat Katayam cha Kirtanair Guna Karmanam Tat Padambura Dhyana Tat Linga Ikshana Adibihi. Ikshana Arhana Adibihi. So very important. Purport also very, very important purport. 7, 30 to 31. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master, and in the association of saintly persons and devotees, one should worship the Lord, hear the glories of the Lord with faith, glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord, always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunctions of Shastra and Guru. Again and again, this has been repeated because these are the three main door to entrance to pure love of God is Guru only. Without that, there is no, because if that you are not even entering into the door, how will you be in the house, attain the where the love of God is inundated in that house? So the door, first you have to enter. So that entrance is through Guru, and who is following that Guru very closely. Here also you will see that in the purport. Here. And everything should be offered to spiritual master as a matter of duty, but the offering should be made to spiritual master with heart and soul, not artificially to gain material. This offering is called arpana. Moreover, one should live among devotees, saintly person, to learn the etiquette and proper behavior of devotion service. Learn. This is very important. Because generally we try to do swatantra. Everything is swatantra, independent. If you are doing service, we will try to do independent service. We will try to hear, chant, and engage devotion service. Everything we try to do independently. So, but we always have to become dependent. And what Prabhupada said, what Guru has said, what advanced devotees. We look at the example. Jananivas Prabhu, Jayananda Prabhu, who Prabhupada has given, and we can see their whole life is completely dedicated only to Krishna and Prabhupada. They have no other deviation in their life at all. So we follow those devotees who are dedicated their life by following them, by seeing how they are doing it, how they do. So Sridhar Mayapur, you look at, because it is happening under the direction of His Grace Jananivas Prabhu, how the deity should be done, how everything, and you can see accordingly the result. Because that's why the training under the guidance of expert devotee, Prabhupada is making that point. Then you will have intense desire, will go increasing and increasing. Anandamadu, it will increase more and more because you are being trained, you are following under his guidance. So that is very much required. Here also you will see that way. Then you will learn, because that is a very important point. When we come to temple, we have to learn the etiquette, how to bow down, why we should bow down, what mantra should be chanted. All these things has to be learned. You can hear, but if we are not learning, you're not noting down, you're not trying to follow, then how we can go to the next level? Because it's not some mechanical process. You just simply put your head into the class, but you are not putting anything in practice. Then how we can change it? We have to do something. Slowly and gradually, we have to do something. Gradually increase our pace, increase our chanting, increase our hearing, increase our service, understanding the principle, each and every aspect, how to, how to worship the devotee, respect the devotee, especially if Prabhupada's disciple is there, how to talk to him. Behavior is very important. We have to learn. We may fall through some of the times, and we learn from the mistakes. Everybody goes through mistakes, but we have to learn and not repeat the same mistake again and again. Prabhupada doesn't want us to repeat the mistake, same sinful act. We can't repeat it. We have to try to restrict it. We have to try to improve it. So improvement is very important. Not artificially to gain, but the offering should be made to spiritual with the heart and soul. That we read. Moreover, one should live among devotees, saintly person, to learn the etiquette and proper behavior of devotion service. Sylvester Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this person that whatever is offered to spiritual should be offered with love and affection, not for material adoration. So that's why Guru also does both things. Guru sometimes, because seeing the devotee, most of the time they want to be glorified. So because Krishna also does the same thing. Krishna gives nice job, nice all the benefits, but that is not actually real mercy of Krishna. Means your anarthas are removed, you are attaining Krishna, you are inundated with love of that is actually Krishna's mercy. The other mercy is just you will giving nice enjoyment. Everything else is nicely. Materially, everything is nice. Yes, that is also mercy. But real mercy is not that. Same thing. Guru's mercy means he make you, glorify you. Yes, very good, excellent, everything. Put the garland, whatnot, glorify in the assembly of devotees, whatnot. But actually, that is not the real mercy of Guru means he is chastising, he is correcting you, he is making sure you are properly following the path of perfection, and he is giving the blessings, he is praying for you. So that is actually real blessings. We have to understand what is the important blessing, what is not so important. So even if you glorify, it's important. But for us, we want to go to the next level. We want to correct our mistakes. That only Guru and Sadhu can do. If others do, you may not correct. If Guru and Sadhu does, generally, you will be able to correct it. Because the strength and power comes with their chastisement. If anybody else does it, you will not realize actually what mistake you have done. You can't realize it. Because it is not coming with that power. Power of pure devotion. So Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection, in this behavior, sadhu must be saintly. Yeah, but there must be some discrimination. Actually, yeah, this is a very important part. Actually, a sadhu, a saintly person, must be saintly in the behavior. Sadhava sadacha. Unless one adheres to the standard behavior, one's position as a sadhu, a saintly is not complete. Therefore, Vaishnava sadhu must completely adhere to the standard of behavior. Sri Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a Vaishnava, a person initiated into Vaishnava, cult should be offered respect, befitting a Vaishnava. If that's what you want. Whether it's initiated or not initiated, you give respect. You can serve him, no problem. That's not a problem. But whom you intimately also, whom you take respect from, whom you follow, that is a different story. Sadhu Bhaktana. So that is the second line, which means that he should be offered service and prayers. However, see that point. However, last line is very important. However, one should not associate with him if he is not fit person with whom to associate. That is a clear distinction. And Prabhupada is making it simple here, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur elaborately explaining this point. So, those who are Antaranga Bhaktas, that means they are completely immersed in following, absorbed in hearing, chanting. What is that? There is a verse, Sanatana Goswami has been quoted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Avyartha Kalatvam. How do you know who is a Sadhu Bhakta? Sadhu Bhakta, advanced devotee. First, no Prajalpa. Minimize so much, very less, hardly any Prajalpa. Avyartha Kalatvam. He doesn't waste his time. Whether he's chanting, he's in service or he's hearing, no wastage of time any time. He may use some time to discuss with devotees, general things also, ordinary things. But more his time is spent on related to Krishna and Guru only. Avyartha Kalatam. That is the first principle. Namagana Sadaruchi. Preeti was throughout Prabhupada's lecture, repeatedly Prabhupada is quoting these 3 or 4 things. The verse says 10 things or 12 things, but these 4 or 5 things Prabhupada repeatedly quoting. Avyartha Kalatam. Namagana Sadaruti. Preeti the Vasati Stale. Either he is living in the temple or he is living a home, making that as a temple, or he is staying in the holy place. There's so much. Even though he is at home, he is at temple, but he is always thinking. Sridham, Mayapur, Vrindavan Dham, Badrinath. So, he's always thinking of the holy place, the deity, the everything. He's always thinking, meditating, constantly meditating. That's what you'll see in Upachar. What are we doing? 16 Upachar. If you go to where second initiative, what we are doing? First meditation only. Obviously, you do Gayatri meditation is there, but when you read, you will clearly why that is given. But nobody pays attention so much. The meditation is on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Navadvip Dham. There are 4 or 6 verses quoted. Then meditation on Radha and Krishna. There are verses quoting there. Because this is for this only. Because if you don't meditate on that and then you directly bathe the Lord and where mind is going. Exactly, your consciousness is there, what you are offering, how you are, whether you are doing it rightly or not, whether where you are putting Madhuparka, you are touching the lip or not, you will not know whether it is rightly done or not rightly done. You will finish the Upachara in time, that is one thing. But whether it is done rightly as per the process given by Mr. Prabhupada, that has to be seen. So that is very important to understand this principle. Sadhu Bhakta means one should not Antaranga Bhakta. Yeah, that's what it is. Bahiranga Bhakta means superficial. You are trying to follow mechanically, theoretically. But Antaranga Bhakta means you will only, this is the first principle this morning class also was mentioning. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling, Lord Krishna is telling, second chapter, verse 55, for Arjuna's question, who is self-realized devotee, how does he behave, how does he walk, how does he sit, how does he, what is the language? There, Krishna's first statement. He doesn't operate anything on mental speculation. And see, he will not decide anything which is not authorized by Sri Prabhupada and Guru. It is a gradual process, but he will, as much as possible, he will minimize. He never want to do what is not being authorized by Prabhupada and Guru. No his own ideas and thoughts. No, that cannot happen. That is very clear point. Prajahat manakavan sarvan partha manogatam. If that is not there, he is not self-realized. He is not advanced devotee. Period. You can say, yes, I am advanced, I am this many years, doesn't matter. Not advanced, period. Because that is the first quality of a science of self-realized devotee. Here also you see that. So these things has to be learned, understood, and heard, especially from Prabhupada. You have to hear. You have to read his books, then you'll know. Otherwise, it is very difficult to know. Because pure love of God is extremely difficult. It becomes extremely easy if you stick to the principles of Prabhupada only. Otherwise, it becomes extremely difficult. You can't even perfect our chanting, you can't perfect our hearing, you can't perfect our service. Everything will be filled with faults. Because we are not following what Prabhupada is giving exactly. So in his purports, in his classes. So that's where the problem is. But if we follow it, then gradually we will fix it. We will become to the perfection in each of these stages. So By just simply chanting itself, we can develop pure love of God. So, as here we see that Maya Devi herself is telling clearly in this verse, Krishna Nama Deha Tumi Mora Kare Danya Amara Bhasha Yiche Prema Vanya. So, Haridas Thakur, Maya Devi tried to allure Haridas Thakur. Then finally, by associating the pure devotee Haridas Thakur, so Haridas Thakur then completely surrendered. I have been initiated by Lord Shiva. I have been given a mantra to chant Lord Rama's name. But Lord Rama's name gives liberation. But now you initiate me into this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Let me be inundated with Prema Vanya, inundated with ecstatic love for Krishna. That's why here this verse she is quoting, Mayadevi, Surgadevi is quoting. Krishna Nama Deha Tumi Mora Kare Danya Amare Bhasha Yiche Prema Vanya. Please give me the holy name of Krishna and thus make me fortunate so that I also may float in the flood of love of Godhead inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these examples are there throughout Chaitanya, especially through Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. You will see so many examples like this again and again repeatedly. So through pure devotee only, through advanced devotee, through sadhu only, you will get the fire, you will get the proper everything. You will be able to fix it. You will be able to see your mistakes, our own mistakes, our faults, our anarthas, what stage we are operating, where we are lacking. Everything will be clear because we are being trained by the pure devotee. If not, then we will not know. We think everything we are doing very nice. We are very nice. We are doing. But actually, in reality, that's not the case. Otherwise, why try? Why we are not trying? Why we are not able to chant properly, attentively? Why we are not able to finish our round by 6 o'clock? Why? First initiation, second initiation, even great so many years also. Still, why? That means there is something fault in us in the way we follow. Means something else is the priority. Somehow or other, something else is there. So that we have to fix. Yes, Prabhupada said throughout the day, 4 times, 4 batches, 16 rounds. Yes, that is what we can also do, but we know where our mind is going. At least I can tell, if I chant anything after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, after office hours, then done. You finish round, but you do. It's not the highest quality. It's not the highest. So Prabhupada wanted every round to be highest quality. Then we have to. Once in a while is okay, but every day we should strive for to finish our rounds early in the morning. So that way, because if chanting is not done, what other can be done? No other thing you can perfect. Because the holy name, the first chanting only has to be perfected properly. So, and hearing will help. If you just simply concentrate on chanting, I don't want to hear from anybody. I will hear from Prabhupada. Then you will still you will not know because you are reading from Prabhupada, you are hearing from Prabhupada, but if you are not in the association or you are not hearing, you will not understand. So many people read Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's book only, but they can't understand what Prabhupada is telling. They can't put in practice properly because you have to hear in the association or devotees who are trying to absorb and follow Prabhupada's principles. Then you will understand actually what Prabhupada means. What is the priority? Where we should concentrate our time? How we should spend our time? So here directly Mayadevi herself is elaborating here. Please give the holy name of Krishna. Make me fortunate. So that must be received. Even the holy name must be received through a pure devotee of the Lord. So let's read further. Already late, 7:59. Ecstasy, ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked simply by following the rules and regulations of devotion service, which I mentioned second verse of Nectar of Instruction. Atyahara prayasasya means over endeavoring, over collecting. We have to try to gradually. In the beginning, it's okay, 30, 40, but after 40, 45, 50 years, we have to regulate our eating, sleeping. Through eating, through sleeping, ki bhojane, ki shayane, ki jagrane, aharne se chinta, Krishna. There also there is a verse Prabhupada is giving elaborate purport. Where is that verse? Yeah, in this verse, you see that. Krishna Nama Nirantara Yanahara Vadane Sei Vaishnava Sreshta Bhaja Tahara Charane. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is considered to first class Vaishnava and your duty is to serve those devotees. But we are not able to chant. Why? Prabhupada is giving that purport. And the antara is the body. What is causing away from Krishna? Why we are not able to chant? Body is impediment to a self-realization because it is always engaged in sense gratification. Similarly, antara means money. If money is not in Krishna service, it is also an impediment.
What
So
do
that's
you do?
Shastra is telling. One is Artha, one is Paramatma. If
You're
you try to
sitting here
get
now, no?
1% of your money in service of Krishna and Guru, it becomes Paramatma. It can lead us to self-realization. If you don't want to use it, then you will get money yes, for your own enjoyment. It will lead to something else. It can't lead to bhakti because you are not utilizing it. So body also same thing. If you don't do service, yes, you could be first initiate, second initiate, you could be whatever. You are not using the body in the service. Prabhupada said, if you are not running on these two parallel lines, that means Bhagavat Vidhi, Pancharatri Vidhi. Pancharatri Vidhi is deity worship. You are not worshipping the deity, not doing the service,
but I'm not
directly or
getting that
indirectly.
opportunity.
Two lines, Bhagavat Vidhi. Bhagavat Vidhi, Savanam Vidhi. But it has to coincide with Pancharatri Vidhi as well. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please meet your lines. Antara means also means Janata, people in general.
I'm just pushing myself. I really don't want to do it. Krishna understands it.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The association of ordinary persons may destroy the principles of devotion service. See that? Clear. So that means the body is a problem, money is a problem. If it is not rightly used, the money is not the problem, body is not the problem, when it is rightly used. The association of ordinary persons may destroy, and then greed. Simasa Prabhu, you can mute the line. Antara may mean greed to acquire more money or enjoy more sense gratification. That's why there should be balance. You can take, I'll put money to buy these many houses, these many investments, these many things. You can go on doing it. There is no problem. But actually, can you have a clear goal of life of attaining Krishna? Can you have a clear goal to chant, hear, associate, service? No. Because if your mind is constantly absorbed in 100 times running throughout the day, throughout the month, running for the job, running for multiple jobs, running for, paying this, paying that. If you don't simplify, if you keep on complicating more and more, nothing is enough. What for we are running? That we have to realize it. Because Prabhupada is clear in his statement. Yes, if you are able to do very nicely with absorption in all these things, then you can do multiple jobs, multiple whatever. If the mind is not running, mind is not agitated, oh, this now the investment is in the stocks are down, now everything I lost, or this house somehow or the other, now everything is down. You are constantly anxiety, then you can't do perform devotion service. So that if you don't have anxiety for anything, then it's fine. But the problem is more you are into mind is into so many things. This body, money, greed, janata. Then all this will come antara. You can't chant nirantara. While taking prasadam itself, we can't remember chanting. We can't remember the holy name. We'll try to enjoy very nice prasadam, nice rasgulla, a nice gulab jamun. We think all those things. We never chant Hare Krishna. So where is nirantara question? That's not the time we can't even remember Krishna at all. So that's why in order to come to nirantara, it is clearly stated here in this particular paragraph. Very, very important verse. This verse also, 1672, Madhya Lila. That's why Gaur Lila has so many significant instructions for all of us. Antara may also mean atheistic ideas, by which one considers the temple deity to be made of stone, wood, or gold. All these are impediments. The deity in the temple is not material. He is the supreme personality of God himself. Similarly, considering spiritual master an ordinary human being, Guru Sunaramati, is also impediment. So that's why you can't point finger to Guru or Krishna. You can't use directly the name. Guru Maharaj, Acharya Dev. So like that we use. We don't write directly the names. We don't call by just the name because that is offensive. So that's just an ordinary person. You are not seeing him as Krishna. So as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is as good as supposed to be worshipped as good as Supreme Lord. So that's why we should be very careful in those principles. Similarly, consider, no, nor should be one consider a Vaishnava a member of a particular caste or nation. So this particular first half of this paragraph is very important. Let's go back to the verse. We'll finish that at least ecstasy chapter. In 11th canto, second chapter, verse number 40 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the ecstatic love born of execution of regulated devotion service explained. A devotee in the course of executing devotion, regulated principles of devotion service develops his natural Krishna consciousness, and being thus softened at heart, he chants and dances like a madman. While performing chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he sometimes cries, sometimes talks wildly, sometimes sings, sometimes without caring for any outside, dance like a madman. In the Padma Puran, there is a statement about ecstatic love born of spontaneous affection. Chandrakanti, a celebrated fair-faced girl, rigidly observed a celibacy in order to obtain Krishna as her husband. She always engaged herself in meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord and always chanted the glories of the Lord. She did not desire to accept anyone else or husband. She had firmly decided that only Lord Krishna would be her husband. So it's intense desire. So that is very much required. Now Prabhupada is quoting this 11 to 40, which is also prominent. This whole chapter is prominent, important purport here also. So 11 to 40, sorry. Verse number 12 is also important. Sotva anupajito dhyatva anumodito. Sadhya punad sadharma. That verse is important. Arjuna is quoting. So verse number 12 and then verse number 40. Let's come to that directly. एवं व्रत स्वप्रिय नाम कृत्या जातानुरगो द्रुत चित्त उच्चै. Druta means fixed of great determination, strong determination. हसति अतो रोदिति रौति गायति उन्मादवन नृत्यानि लोक बाह्य. By chanting the holy name of Supreme One comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So some of us are attached to Radha Samsundar, some are different forms. Radha Madhava. So like that. So you will be fixed in one particular form, one particular deity. You'll be so much attached, you can't live without it. Wherever you are, you'll always think of that particular form, that particular deity. So that's why it is very important to pay attention and pay more time to the lotus feet of the Lord. When you are chanting, the mind will not go anywhere. Mind will remember that lotus feet. So that is what we have to remember. The lotus feet of Guru, lotus feet of Krishna. Particular deity, particular form, you have to remember lotus feet of Nityananda Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that if you have deities, you please pay attention more to the lotus feet, worship lotus feet more and more, you offer tulsi leaves, and you massage the deity's lotus feet regularly. You keep focusing on the lotus feet. Then that's what will come when you are chanting. That's what will come. Then mind will not go here and there. But it requires a lot of practice, a lot of absorption when we are taking darshan of the Lord at the temple or at home while worshipping. It is very important. So here also we see that then we come to ecstatic stage, because if the lotus feet is always coming to the remembrance, then naturally it is very easy to come to the ecstatic stage. If you are not keeping the lotus feet in our heart, then it's very difficult to come to the ecstatic stage. He gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name form. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly or cries, shouts. Sometimes he sings, dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. I think in this purport, in another one, previous verse, I think. Pancham Purushartha Prema Anandamrita Sindhu Mokshadi Ananda Yare Nahi Eka Bindu. No, nothing is equal. Liberation is also not equal to even one bindu, one drop of the pure love. But a devotee who has actually developed bhava, pleasure derived from dharmartha kama moksha, appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. As already stated in the previous verse of this chapter, one exhibits ecstatic symptom of love of God when he is asanga, free from all attachment to material sense gratification. So this can only become by pure devotee. I think previous verses before, one verse before, I think. Let me see. So we are clearly again the same point, I think here. Well, let's see. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also notes the Druta Chitta with a melted heart indicates that one's heart melted by a fire of anxiety to see the Lord becomes like a Jambu Nadi, a river of rose apple juice. The Acharya further points out Nama Kirtanasya Sarva Utkarsham. The person present previous verse clearly distinguishes the exalted position of his Ravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, chanting and hearing the name and glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I think it may be another verse, but in the previous verse, in this chapter only, clearly, I think verses preceding to this, where clearly mentions the pure devotee of the Lord, how important it is. Because here, King Nimi has been instructed by Navayoga and all 9 of them. Out of 100 sons of Rishabhadev, 9 of them became exalted personal spiritual masters, 90 of them became Smartha Brahman. Smartha means karma kand, they want to enjoy, they want to become. But Bharat Maharaj leaving everything, Bharat Maharaj is one of them. So 9 of them, 90 of them became like this. And this 9 of them became the spiritual masters. One of them became Bharat Maharaj, who is also a great devotee. He has instructed Rahu Gan, has initiated him. This out of 100, 10 of them are the most prominent. So this way it is very clear. The point is very clear in this particular chapter. If you want, anybody want pure love of Godhead, then they must first have intense desire. That is the first point we mentioned. Then second point is one must follow the person who is a pure devotee, spiritual master, and Srila Prabhupada. And third one is sadhu bhakta, sadhu bhakta. The person, especially intimately, whom you have to associate, you have to question, whom you have to confidentially discuss, is the person who has completely absorbed with Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas, completely immersed, without any deviation. With that person, we have to follow and try to understand everything about devotion. We have to be trained by that person. Then actually we can perfect. If we are not trained by a person like that, then it becomes very difficult because we will not know what mistakes we do, how our chanting is going on, how our hearing is going on, so how our service is going on, so what anarthas are causing us not to allow us to do proper things in devotion service. We will not know. It's very difficult because somebody else has to point us out. So that is the main principle. Because the time is up, I'll have to stop here. Because that's why the association with pure devotees also Prabhupada is adding here and explaining elaborately so much. Because without that, it is not a possibility. Because we can develop pure love unless you are associating and trained by another person who has already this love. He can only give. Krishna will not give directly. Krishna can only give if you associate with the person whom Krishna has given. So because he has also done the same thing, like Prabhupada has surrendered to Bhakti Siddhanta. And Nityananda Prabhu himself is showing that. Otherwise, why did he wait? Nityananda Prabhu waited how many years? Almost 20 plus years. Until he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't give. He didn't start the Sankirtan. He didn't start distributing Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the same thing. When he inaugurated, when he met Ishwara Puri, then only he started. So Lord also is showing that unless you receive, you are empowered by a pure devotee, you are being trained, you are being guided, then only your sprout for devotion, as in the verse earlier paragraph we have read, first verse, Siddhantam Bolia Chitte Nakara Alas, that verse purport clearly, alertly. So that is what is important. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Gandhras, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai, Shri Gopal Goswami, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai. Thank you very much. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, reflections, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for a wonderful class. Prabhuji, what you were saying just now about focusing on the lotus feet of the Lord,
Yes.
I just wanted to share a realization that, and I've all shared it several times before, that that really works. It's really working for me to focus on chanting, the feet of Radha Shyam Sundarji. Like anytime my mind starts wandering, I try to bring it back only on his feet, and the mind stops wandering. It really works. So just wanted to share that it might be helpful for others also. And as Guru Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj says, when something comes to your mind, Prabhupada used to say he always says, Prabhupada, somebody questioned Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, just ignore the mind, just ignore. So instead of dwelling on what is coming in the mind, especially while chanting, it's just do not even give it a thought and just bring it back to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the focus will be maintained. So it's it truly works. That's all I wanted to say, because you brought it up, and I just wanted to share that it really works.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Nice.
Thank you. Haribol.
Very well. Anyone else? Questions, comments, corrections? Tomorrow is also a very important day. It's Narottam Das Thakur's appearance day. Appearance, I think, if I'm not wrong. So that's why we sang Narottam Das Thakur songs. Prabhupada had said, by following Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we can actually, it is Shastra. So it's not different. Their songs and whatever they have mentioned, everything is as good as Shastra. By following, especially the two of these acharyas, their songs. Okay, other questions? Panchakalpatarubhyasya कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो वैष्णव की जय प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you very much, Mesa Prabhu. It's all yours.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Namananda Prabhu. Basically explaining how we can attain. What is the process? Always we hear this many things, but we heard that how we can attain pure devotion by following the process. We have so many instructions, especially in this book itself, that there are, from the beginning to end. The goal is actually to take us to that pure devotion. So there are so many steps. The process, Abhidheya, to the process. So we have to follow the process. It always says that unless we put our feet in the water, we don't know how deep it is. So the putting the feet in the water is the process. We all have to do that. Then only we will come to know that how deep it is. So nice. Thank you so much. Anybody else has anything to add before we conclude? Any other comments or any questions, reflections? So yeah, as Prabhuji mentioned, tomorrow is Srila Narottam Das Thakur's appearance day. So there are so much to learn. Just to hear that Srila Narottam Das Thakur itself is very purifying. I was reading from the book, this Rajamandal Parikrama, my Guru Maharaj was mentioning. Finally, when Narottam Das Thakur finally Samadhi, and they wanted to wash Srila Narottam Das Thakur's body. They brought it to the Ganges. And immediately, the complete body melted like a milk, completely become milk, the entire body. So they took that, the water, the milk from the water, and then they made a samadhi sthal in Jagannath Puri. So it's so wonderful. So the great personalities like this, and just meditating upon them and hearing their glories, and this all happening. It's not that just it just came out from somebody's mind, or no, it's all real aspect of the devotional services, and what is the power of devotion and the different stages of devotion, that it takes us to that level of purity and completely transforms to our spiritual nature. So it's very, very powerful and wonderful. And we all should endeavor for that without much delay. As we all know that life is very short and is very rare. And I don't know, or we don't know how long we would be here as a human. But this is our wonderful and golden opportunity that we have as a form of human. So our purpose, our ultimate aim and goal and the purpose is to come to this point of pure devotion. Okay, so please practice, and naturally they will come to that pure devotional stage. Thank you so much. Tomorrow you can meditate and observe and hear the glories of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So much out there. So please meditate and yeah, and also 29 is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj 150th appearance day. We are also planning a great festival next week. Throughout the week, we'll be having some distinguished speakers speak on the glories of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, our great grandfather, as we say, our great grandfather, right? And Srila Prabhupada's grandfather, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is the great grandfather. There is so much to understand and realize and to learn from the teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and the life lessons of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So please join and without fail. And this is our golden opportunity. And by the mercy of the Lord that we have this forum, don't miss this. And this is the way that we all can get more mercy. This is completely a mercy. Lord Himself is showering the mercy upon us. That's why we are all able to hear this nectar. And this is nectar. There's nothing else. This is nectar that which gives us immortality, which gives us the liberation, which gives us the complete, the supreme love for the Supreme Lord. So thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add before we conclude? Yeah. So it says that Srila Krishnamanda Prabhu has posted something here. Let me check.
Yeah, this is the verse I was referring to earlier, 11 to 30. Elaborate, so much purport is there, but I couldn't post everything. The materially conditioned souls spend their days and nights discussing various topics of sense gratification. They never find time to hear about transcendental knowledge. But even only briefly or accidentally they hear Harikatha, topics of Krishna, in the association of few devotees of Lord, their propensity to suffer and material will slacken. When one sees liberated persons, hears about Krishna from them, remembers their saintly behavior, and so on, one's tendency to bind himself in the illusion of sense gratification is diminished. He becomes eager to serve the Supreme Lord. So previous one more paragraph, but it's too big, so it's not long with page. But you can read 11 to 30. A lot of purport quoting various acharyas, Prabhupada's putting. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this is us in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's mentioned that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Sravana Adi Shuddha Chitte Karahodai. It's very clear. Sravana Adi Shuddha Chitte. Sravana Adi. So all the other Sravana is the primary and the foremost. Hearing with the devotees, among the devotees. As Krishna even says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Matchida Matgata Prana Bodhayanda Parasparam Patayandischa Nam Mam Nityam Dushyati. My devotees, let's say Krishna is, this, mentioning that my devotees, when they come together, they discuss the glories of my pastimes and the glories. Bodhayanda Parasparam Kadhendisha Mam Nityam, all the time. Nityam, Kadhendischa Mam Nityam. What the benefit? Tushyandicha Ramandicha. This is the ultimate bliss and joy. Nothing else can give you. Notice that's the very truth. That's a real naked truth. That nothing else is here in this world that can give you such joy and the bliss than the glories and the holy name of the Lord and association of devotees. And it's not that just come together and gossip, but when devotees comes together, they discuss the glories of the Supreme Lord. Nothing else. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else? So yeah, next Thursday is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's appearance day. So we have program Grand Festival at the temple, and we'll be having a Pushpanjali. We have Guru Puja and all those like Vyasa Puja that will be there at the temple on next Thursday. So we'll be sending out the notifications and flyers all will be out. Please join without any fail. So we should be always grateful for, especially Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and because of Maharaj that we are here and listening all this. mercy of the devotee. That's what is we are. Otherwise, we won't be able to hear any of these wonderful transcendental topics. We should be always grateful for, and that's their mercy is the first thing that we have to seek always. Their mercy is most. Without their mercy, we cannot move an inch. We cannot do anything. And even if we show something, but that's not. So very, very important. And please join next week, next Thursday. Okay. So let's conclude then today's session. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Gandharaj Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari. Okay, Hare Krishna will conclude.